There has been even more interesting technologies to look at how the brain functions without being so invasive anymore. That is to say, we don't have to go into the brain anymore to look at what's going on. And we could really just, with these high-tech neuroimaging techniques, look at pictures of the brain. And we're going to talk about 4 of the most common ones, from the youngest to the most recent. The first one is EEG, electroencephalogram. And this is a measure of brain electrical activity. I have a picture of someone using EEG here. Basically, they cover your brain, most of it, with like electrodes that could detect minute electric current changes. And so based on where it's attached, they could pick up different electrical impulses on different sides of the brain, right? So they were able to, for example, look at your different brain waves under different states, either when you're sleeping or excited or relaxed. And they found that your brain functioned differently under these circumstances. So that's pretty early on EEG stuff. They come up with the CT scans. You might have heard this if you watch medical dramas like House or ER. And they're computerized tomography. They're basically really advanced X-rays that take multiple angles of your brain using X-rays at the same time. This gives you a kind of a high-quality way to understand what's going on in your brain. If there's like lesions, tumors, cancers, so on and so forth, that's in CT scans. Next up is PET scans, or positron emission tomography, which is also very similar. What they've noticed here is that when the brain is thinking, or certain brains are using energy more, they take in more glucose. Glucose is a basic sugar. It's basically like candy for your brain. When your brain has to work, that part sucks up more glucose. So what researchers here did was that they would put they would put glucose with a tag on it, specifically with a radioactive tag. That is, maybe they color it. They put a dye into the glucose into the brain, and they kind of scan your brain and see which part has more glucose usage, right? Because now they use these scans that could pick up the radioactive dye. It's like putting it's like putting little GPS systems into your glucose and then picking it up later on. So you see where they're concentrated most. And by that they could see that, oh, maybe that's the part of the brain people are using a lot more when they're doing a certain task. For example, if you have to do something with memory and they stain the glucose and they could pick it up later, they could see that where the glucose congregates in your brain. Luckily, this radioactive tracers aren't deadly, otherwise they'll kill you, and it will just dissipate in the body afterwards. And finally is the most advanced, and this is the one that it's the most promising, because FMRI technology, or functional magnetic resonance imaging, allows the brain to work and function and think at the same time that you could scan it. So you put someone in a giant fMRI machine, and you could scan them and their brain doing something, give them a task, and they could detect changes by the second, milliseconds really, of how your brain is changing. And the way fMRI works is kind of similar to PET scans. And that's the idea that when your brain is working, it takes up more blood, and in the blood is more oxygen, right? And so what they found out is that when there's oxygen kind of congregates in parts of the brain, it changes the magnetic properties of your brain. That's when a lot of oxygen occurs, maybe the magnetism is not detected. And so when you're in this machine, it keeps blasting you with these kind of scans that kind of picks up changes in the magnetic resonance in your brain. Right? Again, the magnetic resonance is really an outcome of the change of oxygen flow in your brain. So the more oxygen that part of the brain is using, it's kind of saying that that's the part of the brain that is working the most right now. So what happens is that they put someone in the scan, they give them a task like, oh, try to think of a memory of your childhood. And they'll see which part of the brain gets more oxygen, and from that kind of deduce that that's the part of the brain that's getting the most usage doing that task. There's a lot of great interesting examples coming out of this technology. I'll give you a quick example. One of my favorites is that they put someone in an fMRI machine, and they were playing this game with this other fictitious person. They don't know it when you're in the machine. But a bunch of people are like throwing a ball around in this fake game. And all of a sudden, people stop throwing the ball to the participant in the fMRI machine. So the participant is lying there just watching these other people play and excluding them, right? And the researchers were interested in what part of the brain was involved in social rejection. When someone kind of socially rejects you, what part of the brain is involved? And they found out it's the part of the brain, the AAC, that's just part of the brain in the front, that also deals with physical pain. that when you get physically hurt, that's the same part of the brain that lights up. So from that they try to conclude that social pain and actual physical pain all occur in the same part of the brain. And that's kind of very interesting because no one's hitting you when they're not passing you the ball, but it still hurts in the kind of the same way.